Thank you for joining me today. I'm excited to present my action research proposal, which tackles a common but often overlooked challenge in EMS education: the variability in preceptor evaluations of students. This issue doesn't just affect grades. It impacts student confidence, learning progression, and even program credibility. Our students work hard to meet competency requirements, but inconsistent scoring can leave them uncertain about where they stand and can sometimes result in mixed or conflicting feedback. In this presentation, I'll explain the purpose of the project, the proposed solution, how we'll implement it, and the potential benefits for all involved. The intervention, Preceptor Calibration training, is designed to bring alignment and clarity to how performance is evaluated, ensuring our assessments are fair, consistent, and supportive of both students and the program's mission. Action research is the perfect fit for this project because it directly involves the people who are most connected to the problem, our EMS preceptors. Zhang and co-authors emphasize that action research thrives in environments where the participants are also active contributors to the solution. In our case, preceptors aren't just the implementers, they're co-creators of the process. This approach is also highly adaptable. Al-Razini and co-authors demonstrated in EMS education that incorporating feedback loops at multiple stages allows the project to evolve based on real-world experiences rather than sticking to a rigid, one-size-fits-all plan. By using action research, we're not just applying theory. We're building something grounded in the lived experiences of both students and preceptors. This problem matters because inconsistent scoring by preceptors creates ripple effects throughout the entire educational process. Tavares and co-authors found that even small differences in how evaluators interpret performance criteria can lead to significant variations in student scores. Imagine two students performing at the same level but receiving very different evaluations. It's not only unfair, but also potentially damaging to their motivation and learning trajectory. Pomerleau notes that these inconsistencies can also impact a program's accreditation readiness, since accreditation bodies expect clear and reliable assessment processes. Fortunately, there's strong evidence that calibration training works. Science highlights how targeted rater training can significantly improve inter-rater reliability, ensuring evaluators are aligned in their understanding and application of performance criteria. The research question driving this study is very straightforward. How will preceptor calibration training improve the consistency and fairness of student evaluations in EMS clinical education? Our goal is to measurably increase inter-rater reliability, meaning that different preceptors scoring the same performance will produce similar results. This will create a standardized approach to evaluation, where the same criteria are applied in the same way, regardless of who the evaluator is. If we can achieve this, we'll create a stronger foundation for fair assessments, better student outcomes, and greater confidence in our program's evaluation process. The proposed solution is a focused 2-hour calibration training session. It will have 3 main components. First, we'll review our current evaluation rubric in detail, making sure everyone has a clear understanding of each criterion. Ramazanzadeh and co-authors demonstrated that clarity in rubric interpretation is a key factor in achieving consistent scoring. Next, preceptors will participate in scenario-based scoring exercises using standardized patient scenarios. This step gives them the opportunity to apply the rubric in a realistic context. Lamusio and co-authors found that using validated scenarios can greatly improve assessor confidence and accuracy. Finally, we'll hold a structured group discussion to compare scoring decisions, explore any differences, and reach consensus on best practices. A follow-up survey, as recommended by Pondian and co-authors, will allow us to measure preceptor confidence in scoring both before and after the training. The population for this study is all active EMS preceptors affiliated with our program. For the sample, we'll focus on approximately 10 to 15 preceptors who have evaluated students within the past semester. Selecting participants with recent evaluation experience is critical, As Bartlett and co-authors explain, a preceptor's competency in assessment is closely tied to recent, hands-on experience. This ensures that our training addresses current realities, not outdated practices. By focusing on this targeted group, we can maximize the relevance of the training and generate meaningful improvements that can later be scaled to the larger preceptor pool. Here's how we will put the plan into action. In Step 1, during weeks 1 and 2, the clinical coordinator will develop the training materials. These will include the evaluation rubrics, validated simulation scenarios, and scoring guides that preceptors will use during both the pre- and post-training assessments. In Step 2, during Week 3, the program director will schedule the training session and formally recruit participating preceptors, ensuring we have a diverse group that reflects different experience levels and perspectives. Step 3 is the heart of the intervention, the 2-hour calibration training conducted in Week 4. During this session, preceptors will review the rubrics in detail, score sample scenarios, and engage in consensus-building discussions to align interpretation and scoring practices. In Step 4, during Weeks 5 and 6, the clinical coordinator will oversee the collection of both pre- and post-training scoring data, as well as administer a structured survey to capture preceptor feedback. This process mirrors the recommendations by Pondian and co-authors, emphasizing the importance of gathering both quantitative and qualitative data. Finally, in Step 5, during Weeks 7 and 8, the clinical coordinator will analyze the results to determine changes in scoring consistency and summarize the findings for stakeholders. This step ensures that data not only informs the current cycle, but also guides future improvements to preceptor training and evaluation practices. We will need a handful of key resources to make this training successful. First, the existing evaluation rubrics, which will be central to both training and assessment. Second, validated simulation scenarios, as recommended by Lamusio and co-authors to ensure that scoring exercises reflect realistic and clinically relevant situations. The training itself can be conducted either in person or virtually, depending on what works best for participants. For data collection and analysis, we'll use free and accessible tools such as Google Forms and Microsoft Excel, which Alcarusi notes are effective for handling Likert scale and survey data without requiring advanced statistical software. Finally, we'll need a commitment of time from both faculty and preceptors, a relatively small investment for the potential long-term gains in evaluation quality and consistency. This initiative has tangible benefits for every stakeholder involved. For students, it means receiving fair and consistent evaluations with feedback they can trust. As Pomerleau points out, consistency in evaluation directly supports student confidence and competence development. Preceptors will benefit from greater confidence in their scoring, with reduced uncertainty about how to interpret criteria, a key finding in Sainz's work on rater calibration. For faculty, the ability to track student progress with reliable data, as highlighted by Ramazanzadeh and co-authors, will strengthen curriculum planning and identify early intervention needs. And finally, our partner agencies will see strengthened collaboration and alignment of expectations, consistent with the guidelines set by NAMC. The next steps are straightforward but critical. First, we'll secure formal approval from all relevant stakeholders. Then we'll finalize training materials, select the standardized scenarios, and confirm the training date. Following this, we'll conduct the baseline scoring assessment to capture pre-training consistency levels. Once the training is implemented, we'll repeat the assessment to determine changes. Finally, we'll compile and share our findings, identifying what worked well and where adjustments can be made for the next cycle. This reflects the cyclical nature of action research. It's not a one-time event, but a continuous process of improvement.